okay, what is the deal with trying so hard to defend Supergirl? That's a very questionable thing to me. I don't really understand that. Now, the Green Lantern scenario dealing with DC's, James Gunn's DC, if you will. The Green Lantern scenario, yeah, you had basically one of the writers or whatever say something insanely stupid. We always thought the green was dumb. Like, again, this is what I mean whenever I say people who stand on the shoulders of giants. You didn't make it, but it's beloved for being what it is, but you're already showing disdain for it just on a basic level. You probably shouldn't be involved in doing anything, because that's stupid. But the backlash behind that very much is warranted, because again, people love Green Lanterns and they've wanted to see an actual good representation of those characters shown since forever, and they never have. So Lord knows if someone who thinks that green in the Lantern name is dumb, you're probably not going to get that good of a representation. Sad to say. But with the Supergirl, touching bases here, but with the Supergirl scenario, I'm confused. I'm confused because we all know what James Gunn is capable of. Not a lot. Not a lot in terms of getting out of his comfort zone. Yes, he's not the one directing it, but the movie feels like something he would direct. And seeing as how he's in control of everything, why would you not think that it would have a lot of similarities that he's used to? I mean, it's like with Kevin Feige in the MCU, we all know that they're going to do everything they can in their power to copy Josh Whedon's way of writing style and whatnot, and they're not good at it, but they keep copying it. It's what you expect, but they're different. They've been having different directors all over the place, but it's still the same quirky writing style and things like that. So yeah. Now, with the Supergirl movie, you do have the fact that it's based off of an actual existing comic dealing with Supergirl, but that in itself is not an excuse. It's not an excuse, because that comic is stupid. So this notion of Supergirl is innately stupid. And realistically, you have it setting up in a premise to where she's going after people who harmed her dog. But okay, first of all, Krypto isn't her dog, but they're setting up that Krypto's her dog, so whatever. But these people poisoned Krypto rather than just outright killing him, because I don't know why. But then she has a certain amount of time to go get the antidote to cure Krypto, because she's really sad and depressed because Krypto's the only thing she has to remember her family. What about her cousin? Her cousin exists. Her whole living, breathing family member whom she can speak to and talk to about her world and everything that he doesn't know about for hours and days on end, that she could just, he literally has a piece of the planet that's similar to what Krypton was, and she could just stay there and just be with him all the time. What about him? No? Okay. How about the fact that his movie had him taking care of the dog? If she loved it so damn much, why wasn't she with the dog? The dog almost died. If you didn't know, in the Superman movie, Krypto could have been killed. So what about that, Supergirl? I don't know. Stupid movie. Very stupid. It's already, I ain't even seen it. It ain't even out, and it done started off pissing me off, but I digress. So the factor of what's going on is that you have so many people trying to defend this movie as if it's going to be something that it's not. It's following closely towards the comic book, which kind of, it's only like an 8-issue thing, and nothing. Krypto gets hurt, she gets mad, and finally bucks up, and then just decides to be Supergirl, and then cures Krypto. End of the movie. And with this, you just have Lobo being introduced. But other than that, the trailer has already revealed way too much. So much so that people who are even shilling for this movie have to admit, or has admitted, hasn't. They have admitted that the movie has basically already shown Acts 1 and Acts 2. And even weirder still is that the very first, this is for the newest trailer. It's like the second trailer that came out for Supergirl. People are like, oh yeah, this is what the movie's going to be like. And I'm all here for it. Stupid. So stupid. While when the first trailer dropped, during the actual DC Showcase event where they shown the trailer, the people who were there shilling out for DC are the ones who said that the movie looks like Guardians of the Galaxy. And so then when it got passed around that the movie looks and feels as if it's going to be another Guardians of the Galaxy clone, because that's what James Gunn keeps making, then the Defense of the Shields came, which is weird because their people are the ones who said it. So it wasn't even people who innately looked at this and was displeased with it. It was those who were trying to give it a positive representation. So you've had way too many chances to actually showcase and highlight that this movie might not be the creme de la creme, and honestly, it's a bad move on James Gunn to even try and make it. But then again, I thought it was idiotic and stupid when he announced a plethora of movies and TV shows that he wanted to do all the way up until like the 2030s. And that was just dumb. And then not only that, but then like a bunch of them already gotten canceled. So just dumb. Like, why would you do that? Right now, you got the ball is in your hand. And you have every chance and every opportunity to essentially just feed off of that culture that is expecting something, that wants more, that doesn't know what's coming. And you could feed off of that, and you can use DC to do that, because the MCU has already screwed up in terms of giving you expectations. Oh, this is coming, and this is coming, and this is coming, only to then cancel shit, rename shit, or just outright change shit all the way from from its name. So, because now we got Doomsday instead of the Kang Dynasty. Anyway, so there's so many things that have happened to where it's like, it is fine to call James Gunn out on doing this bullshit, but you have to acknowledge that there are way too many people who are positively pushing this movie who essentially either work for DC, have worked for DC, or have inadvertently been paid or shown shit by DC because they were just these wide-eyed wanderers. They brought me to a test screening. I just loved it. And it's like, well, no. Like, no, these are not the people you need to be catering to. I've said this before and I'll say it again. They're insane. They are crazy people who will like anything, so you don't need to cater to them. But I do find that the oddness of protecting Supergirl, of all things, is such a big deal. I mean, we're dealing with a character that a lot of people do not know anything about, and also is not popular. She is a tokenized version of Superman. She is Superman turned to a girl. The end. That's it. And that's all that she is. That's all that she ever has been. And then it's been later, decided to give her some depth or whatnot. And then they made her Power Girl, to which she became just a sex symbol with a boob window. That's what she got. And, they didn't do anything else to her character. Just gave her a boob window. So whatever with that. But I don't understand the idea of protecting what it is that we're getting, because what we're getting is not really anything that's new, fresh, or interesting. It's just more of the same. And so I'm confused as to why it's like, it's a bad thing for people calling that out? It's bad for people to look at this and go, yeah, you're based off of a comic, but it's not a good selling comic or a well-liked comic involving this character. It's just a comic that exists. Much like with Black Panther dealing with Shuri being the Black Panther. That's a comic that exists, but those aren't the best-selling Black Panther comics. But because they exist, that gives them a pass to be created? No, that's stupid. That's insanely stupid. So the same thing dealing with Supergirl. Yeah, this is an 8-issue series that exists, but that doesn't mean that this is the adaptation of Supergirl that people really want to see. Or also, why the fuck are we doing Supergirl? Why? There's so many characters that people really want to see. Hell, honestly, the Green Lantern show, I have more of an intrigue in watching than your Supergirl movie. I don't even plan on going to the theaters to go see it. I don't care that Jason Momoa is playing Lobo. Whoop-de-doo. He's playing Lobo. Yeah, he's playing Lobo in a shitty movie, though. So, and the main man is going to be second fiddle to Supergirl, who's unlikable in this movie. She was unlikable at the end of the Superman movie. So you're not really doing it. She's just a drunk, depressed about her family and everything blowing up. But her whole cousin that's alive is telling her that he's family and that she can always come talk to him. And she's actively choosing not to because she sees the truth, but he sees the good in people. So stupid. So stupid. I wonder if they're going to mention how his parents wanted him to make a harem over the world. Was she supposed to have a bunch of babies? I don't know. Are they going to talk about that? They're not going to talk about that. You know, like, Kara, open them legs and pump out kids. Come on, girl. Hell, find your cousin. That's so nasty. Why did he put that in there? That's so stupid. Have a harem, Clark. What? What? Why would you do this? I'm very confused as to why so many people are going out of their way to try and force this when it's not anything that anyone wants, nor is it something that's like, you know, this is highly looked forward to or anything like that. Right now, the controversy behind Supergirl being in such a resounding negative far outweigh any type of positive that you can have about this movie coming out or anything that you're going to do in the future with this character. Hell, isn't it like there's going to be another Superman movie pretty soon or something? I'm not sure. Like, does he have any other plans dealing with Supergirl outside of her appearing as cameos into stuff? I don't know. Hell, I'm not even talking about the actress saying some shit that people really didn't want to hear. But again, you just have so much stuff going on that's just not really a positive for this movie. But you have so many people trying to defend it as if it is a positive, and it ultimately is irksome. If there's a word to use, it's irksome. Because why go so hard for this? You know, for this thing, why go so hard? And also for the Green Lantern show, it wasn't a joke. The dude wasn't being comedic because it was a comedy podcast. No, he said what he truly felt, because that's how writers in Hollywood are today, and it's stupid. But he didn't know it was stupid, because much like how good of writers in Hollywood actually are, he thought it was genius. This was so smart. This is great. It's gonna be as good as She-Hulk. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Such a bad joke. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But yeah, I honestly don't really. I don't really understand the need to try and push for Supergirl to actually be more than what it is, and what they've showcased is exactly what it's going to be. And because it's like, duh. But I just find that odd that essentially we're having that same issue with movies happening again and again and again and again and again. And these people who supposedly are these diehard fans and whatnot are just not calling this shit out. And by all means, it needs to be called out. It's not good. It is ultimately not good. And honestly, it's like, with the direction that this movie is going, with every other thing that James Gunn DC is about to produce and release and whatnot, I don't see any hope for DC actually making anything worthwhile. And honestly, the only movie that people are looking forward to is some shit that James Gunn ain't got no hand in actually making, which is going to be the next Batman movie. So, and not like the Brave and the Bold one, not that crap. I'm talking about the Batman with Robert Pattinson. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's man, this is just dumb. Like, all of it is just dumb. When you take a step back and you look at the debacle of what James Gunn has done to DC, it's like, dude, how you fuck up this bad? You had a layup. You've seen what people liked. You've seen what people hated. All you had to do was just make what they liked, and the money just would have rolled in. But instead, you made what you like, and what you like is stupid. It's grouping. It's big groups of people talking about shit, pseudo emotional breakdowns, and just your style of comedy, and that's it. And I don't think DC needed that right now. But you know, whatever. There's been another episode of Phone Flame. I've been here with Danieltheflame. That's just a quick idea that was in my head. I'm sorry. I just needed to get it out. But as always, I hope you had fun.